Well, good morning, Southern Oregon. Alice Lema here with Pete Belcastro. Welcome to the Real Estate Show. Pete and I are both brokers here at John L. Scott in Southern Oregon, and we're here to bring you another interesting topsy-turvy week, real estate land in Southern Oregon.
Topsy-turvy, that's a good way to describe the mid to end of May. Look, March, April, and May are generally the three kind of busiest real estate months of the year. And they were pretty busy, Alice. And now we're going into the summer of June, July, August. And last summer is when the market really took off on us in the middle of the COVID world. So who knows what to expect, but there's still high demand for us in really all price categories. Not a lot of inventory. Even though it's come up a little bit each month, it's scooped up pretty quickly, and we're still seeing multiple offers in certain situations. Not every home, not every community, not every sale is this way, but a lot of them are, and so we have to be ready. So today, what a treat today, Alice, because Lennox Scott, who's the grandson of John L. Scott himself, is going to join us in a little bit. He's on his Zoom tour of the region, and so we're going to pick his brain a little bit about real estate in the Northwest in the country and what he sees as the future coming, what we've been through and what we may see in the future. He would know. He's in the middle of this stuff. He's the CEO.
And he's also active on the national front, some housing categories in Congress. He works not only locally, but also with captains of industry. And he just has a breadth of knowledge. We're so excited to have him here today.
Yeah. So, those types of things, I think, help both buyers and sellers kind of determine, because it's not just us telling these things. It's really coming from somebody who sees the entire region, the picture. What's different in Medford is different maybe in Eugene, or the same, or Seattle, Portland. How do we solve some issues? And what role do realtors play in a lot of the housing discussions and things? So he's a fascinating topic. And we've had him on before. He's been on, Alice. And so I look forward to seeing what he's got to say. We haven't talked to him because he canceled the tour last year.
Because of the COVID, yeah.
We haven't really talked to him in a couple of years. So we'll see what he's really got to say. And I'm really curious, because I'm assuming if real estate the way it is, not only in our valley, but all over the region, is having a pretty darn good year. And we'll hear a lot from that.
It'll be interesting to see what his predictions are for the rest of the year, because we're still trying to normalize. It's just been, we jokingly call it topsy-turvy, but it really has been a really rough up and down year, 14 months.
I don't know what the normal market is anymore.
Right.
When I started back in 2007 and 8, it was crazy then, but it's so different today. And so whatever a normal market is, what are we in? Who knows? We just know it's fast-paced, high demand, low inventory, low interest rates. Nothing's going to change. There's still a lot of activity going on. Opportunities exist as a result of this, though, for many, many people.
Well, and we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk to Lennox Scott, the CEO of John L. Scott. Pete and Alice will be right back. Well, welcome back to the Real Estate Show, folks. Alice Lema, Pete Belcastro here. We're both brokers at John L. Scott in Southern Oregon, and we are super excited to have our fearless leader today, Lennox Scott. Lennox, welcome. Welcome to the Real Estate Show.
Well, thank you, Alice, and thank you, Pete, for having me on the show today.
So there's so much going on in the world of real estate and just in the world in general. We'd love to hear your perspective of kind of where we're at now, COVID, reopening, that sort of thing.
Wow, what a journey that we've been on. And real estate is very predictable, but then every once in a while, a COVID situation, a major event will come in. And we've been able to work through that event this last year, and we immediately changed our business practices to support social distancing, because we wanted to really help our buyers, our sellers, and good social distancing for ourselves to be able to move forward with real estate transactions. And we were able to transition in short order and get the real estate market moving back in the right direction after that initial shock of COVID. And you saw that, didn't you, both Alice and Pete?
We did.
Lennox, when March, we were doing our show a year ago in March, and all of a sudden we were shut down, and Alice and I are going, good God, the market's going to go like this, and what are we going to do? And, it just was like the opposite. It took about a month, and then everything started going the other way. The only problem we saw was that listings just kind of disappeared. There weren't very many of them. And so it really created such a strange dynamic with the middle of a pandemic and all this business. And real estate seemed to be the driving force in it.
Yes, it sure was. Well, when these major events take place like this, like COVID and 9/11, they are totally different than economic recessions. So you get that initial shock. We get a grounding. We check in on each other and our friends and family and community. But then everybody sees, okay, we're okay. We can move forward. And then with social distancing and exactly what you're saying, Pete, that buyers regenerated themselves by May. But the listings really didn't start regenerating until towards the end of June. And then they came back on in normal order. But there were other changes in the market. Didn't you see that taking place in your market?
Yeah, well, our prices. Oh, sorry. We're still on Zoom, folks. Go ahead, Pete.
Oh, go.
We saw quite a surge in our prices as people relocated with their remote working jobs.
Yes, that really took place. Everybody did a kind of going through a renewal of where do I really want to live, going through that conversation. And in the major cities of San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, the people were moving out of the cities because they had options available. This whole new era of Zoom calls and working remotely, and just people figuring out, do I want to move now to a lifestyle destination market? And boy, is that ever Southern Oregon where you're located. Okay. You're such an attractor for the whole nation. You live in paradise.
Well, that paradise took an interesting toll here on us too, because what we've had in our market, Lennox, and you see them all over the Northwest, so you're much aware. But what we have here is we only have almost just under 300 listings in all of Jackson County for stick-built homes. And over half of those are priced at $500,000 and above. So right. Last in our own county here in Jackson, and you see the numbers and the amount of stuff's going on here, there's only like 63 homes listed under 350,000. And so we have like two markets, 500,000 and above and 500,000 and below. And below it is dog eat dog, multiple offers. It's nothing I've ever seen in my 13 years of doing this. It's just really remarkable how few listings there are in those lower price ranges.
And what's really created that is we're calling it a cyclone of sales activity intensity. So when COVID hit, the Fed's Reserve and the bond market lowered interest rates so substantially that it brought out a huge backlog of buyers, and they bought up all the unsold inventory in June, July, August. And so all you have is new listings coming on the market. And then you're having triple the focus on each new listing because of the big backlog buyers. There's no other inventory available, and they focus in on those, creating multiple offers and the substantial price appreciation that you've had in your local market.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the price difference between this time last year is just incredible. It's somewhere between a $30,000 and $100,000 price appreciation on every property in both of our counties down in the valley, and then Klamath has similar numbers, just percentage different because of the market. And it's really caused a little bit of a problem for our locals.
Yes.
Because they're not able to make, cash offers $50,000 over full price. So we're just wondering how your folks in your area deal with that.
We're seeing the same situation in every market in the Northwest. And we're in several markets in California also, and we're seeing the same situation in the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and California. And so what we're going to see here is we're right now in towards the end of May, and there's a couple more months, maybe 4 more months this year, where we have an elevated number of listings that come on the market on a monthly basis. This is seasonal, but this is the time that they're coming on the market. And so if you're a buyer and you were frustrated over the winter, now it's time to renew the spirit, and let's get back out there and check in about availability and selection and availability. Because once we get to September, October, even those are good months for a number of new listings, right after that is the 4 months of the winter. And that's when fewer listings come on the market. So this is a great time to get out and with these historically low rates. They're not at the all-time low, but they are really good right now. And go through a renewal spirit and list about the possibility of getting a home.
Lennox, what do you think is happening in the luxury home market? Right now, in Jackson County, for example, we have 54 homes priced in the luxury market category here. 54. Now, that may not, they're not many compared to Seattle, but for here, it's never been that high. What's happening with this? Why? What do you think's going on?
Well, homeowners are repositioning their where they're living right now. And with this great demand, even though there's more listings available for sale right now in luxury, there's also more homes going under contract. We've never seen as many luxury homes going under contract in your local market and everywhere in the Northwest. We're seeing the same phenomena. So people are changing where they're living, and this is a great time to sell, great time to buy. And the luxury market's also benefiting from this surge in sales activity.
Yeah. Well, if you want to buy a luxury home, you got a lot of choice. I mean, in the price range, you got a lot of choice. But if you're looking for $300,000 or $350,000, you're really, really scrambling. So I worry about the gentrification or the affordability things that are going on in communities like Medford, where what is coming in buying and what is being replaced of who is selling, they're going someplace else. And that is what I think is so concerning. So many people have that issue of what's happening in our communities as a result of what we're seeing with the housing sales.
And you're seeing people rotate for jobs, for livability. You're in such a lifestyle destination market. So you're going to get people coming in from outside the area. And right now there's more people coming in than ever before. And they have their homes appreciated maybe more in those metro areas over the years. So they have the capability to purchase higher priced homes. And that's why you're seeing the number of homes going under contract in the luxury price ranges. You just have those individuals wanting that lifestyle destination market that you have there in Medford.
So I'm wondering nationally, if people don't have to stay in a location anymore, and it's not location necessarily, do you think there'll be a average home price nationwide? Do you think that'll, like a rural property in Medford will be the same as a rural property somewhere else?
Well, definitely with COVID and everybody checking in, where do I really want to live? That has brought up all the values in the rural areas substantially. And there's only so many homes for sale. So it did equalize a little bit the home values by raising up the median home price in the rural areas, but we're also seeing that same thing in the metro areas. There's never going to be enough homes in the more affordable and mid-price ranges. Prices will only go higher. In the upper end in luxury, that's where you'll see the fluctuation over the decades of, generally speaking, upward momentum, but not quite as intense as you've both been saying, Pete and Alice, on the more affordable and mid-price range.
So we're also noticing an interesting demand for our multifamily properties because, as you were mentioning, during the COVID, people really had to assess who they wanted to be with as well as where they wanted to be. And so all of a sudden, our tenants are really struggling because these properties are being purchased by families. And I'm just wondering if you could weigh in on that phenomena.
Well, for multifamily, you mean rental properties or multifamily?
Duplex, triplex, residential, fourplex. Yeah, the smaller, normally mom and pop investor owned.
Right, and what an opportunity for investors for these types of properties, and for families, to take over one of the units and rent out the others is a possibility. Always a great starting point for home ownership, but also starting your journey with investment property, residential investment property is what we see.
So what do you think will happen with the interest rates for the rest of the year? Any clues?
Yeah, so there's projections by the National Association of Realtors. Lawrence Yun, our chief economist, and the National Mortgage Bankers Association, they're both predicting 3.3 to 3.4% interest rates at year end. And we're close to just shy of 3% right now, right in that range right now. So they're projecting higher. At the end of next year, 2022, the mortgage bankers are predicting 3.9 and then into the fours in year 2023. So this is a golden moment in time. Rates are still historically low for home purchases, and that's what is driving the market.
As long as they stay low, like you're talking about, things are going to go. Things will be fine. Well, because we throw all the bets off if they go higher.
Well, the Fed Reserve is committed to keeping interest rates low, but the bond market reacts on their own. But the Fed Reserve is buying mortgage-backed securities and bonds to keep rates low right now, and they're stating they're going to do that for years to come.
Well, I sure hope they're right.
Yeah. Well, that's being done because the real estate industry is leading the economy back. With all that we're seeing, it's such a driving force. The economy would tank if interest rates went high. So it makes perfect sense.
Well, real estate is 18% of the federal GDP is real estate. So we are a major factor in the comeback for the economy.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, folks, we're here chatting with Lennox Scott, our fearless leader for John L. Scott here in Southern Oregon. Pete Belcastro and myself, Alice Lema, will be right back after these messages. It's going to be another episode of great information. Do not touch that dial. Well, welcome back to the Real Estate Show, folks. Alice Lema here with Pete Belcastro. We're both brokers at John L. Scott here in Southern Oregon. And we're so excited today to have the company executive officer, the CEO of John L. Scott, Mr. Lennox Scott himself. Welcome back, Lennox.
Well, thank you.
So we were just chatting during the break about market ready, how to maneuver through this market. What are some of your thoughts about that?
Well, in getting your home market ready as a seller, we showcase your home in the best light to get the best price. And in today's market, help you get premium pricing. That's what our objective is to partner up with you. And the real two keys in selling your home and picking the right agent, I look at two items. One is them being your personal representative. Their personal representative in helping educate you on what's going on in the market, partnering up with you to come up with a pricing and marketing strategy plan. They're your representative in helping get the right vendors to you to help you fix up and spruce up your home to showcase it in the best light. We're their your personal representative in networking with the other brokers when we launch the home for marketing, and working with those vendors around the marketing of your home, the photographers, getting it on the internet, getting the exposure for your home to all buyers in the marketplace. We're also your representative when that purchase agreement comes in. We represent you. We're your personal representative during the inspection phase of the transaction and working with the closing service partners. So that's one item. And then the other side is expert marketing, really showcasing your home to attract buyers to it. And it really comes down to, the professional photos, because buyers already know they want to live in the market area and they know the area and the price range. But when they see those photos, they go, boy, I want to go see that house. And nowadays they go drive by the house, or you want that front yard in great shape. And then they say those magic words, I want to see inside the house. And that's what brings them to you. And they're the agent that they're working with. That's who we network with. And in representation, we have the other agents and other companies locally that we engage with. We network with the other agents in the surrounding offices that have buyers for that. And then we're the goodwill ambassador from agents outside the area that bring their clients in that really don't know anything about the area or your neighborhood. So we work on your behalf to get your, not only get your home sold, but to get the best price and the best terms for you. So that's what Market Ready Day One is, and personal, being their personal representative.
Well, and that it certainly helps sellers get top dollar in this market. What about for buyers? What can buyers do to be buyer ready?
Well, yeah, that is really it, being buyer ready. And we use the phrase be buyer ready day one. And in today's market, you're not going to get a house unless you're buyer ready day one. And that's so that you owe it to yourself to have that 1 hour counseling session with your real estate agent about what's really going on in the market. What is the intensity of the market and how fast do you have to react in the market? And right now we've gone from a quick action market to an instant response market. And the way to get yourself ready for instant response is to get full, pre-approved or fully underwritten ahead of time. Get your finances in shape so you know what you can afford. So if it does get into a multiple offer and you want to play in that to get that particular house, you know how far you can go. And interest rates do affect that, so they will change up or down, but you'll know how much you can really put into that house. The other item is being in the flow of information. Each of our broker associates has a mobile app where you can get email notifications of new listings that come on the market instantly, so that you'll be one of the first to know that a home is on the market. And that allows you to look at the photos, see where the home is located, drive by the house, or just say, I want to see inside the house right away, and we'll do our best to get you in right then and there so that you have a good shot at getting the house. So buyer ready day one, and it's on one side, we represent our client, whether they're a buyer or a seller, and to do the best job possible for them.
We had a 20% increase in pricing here from a year ago, which is really, really high. And as you talk about these things and being ready, that is playing such a role now in terms of where we're going. We're down 62% in listings here from a year ago. So the pressure seems to be generating. And how far, Lennox, can this go? Prices can only go so high. Sellers can only get so much money for their price, for their house. Do you see maneuvering in there, or are we reaching the limit in a lot of these communities?
Well, this is a COVID-driven pop. When you had all those out-of-town buyers say, I want to live there. I want to live in Medford. That's what created the situation. It happened overnight in early June because the unsold inventory all got purchased. So all there is the brand new listing that's coming on the market. And as we noticed in April, there were actually fewer new resale listings coming on the market than in previous years of 2018 and 2019. And I made the statement, well, people don't like to move out of Paradise. You already live in Paradise. You're in Medford. But people move for all sorts of reasons. So that's just adding a little humor to this. But that is the situation. And so you're going to be in this pressure cooker for buyers. It's definitely a seller market. The biggest price appreciation boost always happens the first 4 months of the year, and it shows up in closings until through June. Because normally what happens is you have more new resale listings come on the market during the summer than homes go under contract. And you get dispersed buyer energy. And so you come down, the intensity comes down ever so slightly in the summer. You might come down from a frenzy market down to a surge market or a strong market, a couple of levels of hotness. But right now, because we're virtually sold out, there's hardly any additional listings coming on the market above the number of going under contract of those that are coming on. It's just keeping this intensity up at an extremely high level. Extreme frenzy, and now I even say uber frenzy of the home selling. Now, listings usually come on the market Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then people look at them. And right now, sellers might have a offer review date on Monday or Tuesday, so they get enough buyers through the house to see if they really, if they want to move forward with a purchase agreement. Or a seller might say, seller might reserve the right to review any offers after the open houses on the weekend. or after the showings on the weekend. So either one, and then the sales get reported in on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of the following week. And that's how the process is working right now. And then but we're also heading into a holiday weekend. And when you go into a holiday weekend, the number of new listings drops a little bit. The buyer demand is still there. And then the number of listings pick up after the holiday weekend on that, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday after the holiday coming up. So, there's nuances to every week. We track every week the number of listings and the number of homes going under contract. We track it on a monthly basis, and we see these historical trend lines, and we really follow those. And that's why I'm really up right now that this is the time for buyers that be able to have some more selection out there. And maybe we come down from uber frenzy market down one level of hotness to extreme frenzy for each new listing, but it's still at that intense level, and we do need to be buyer ready.
Yeah, it would be really weird to have a normal market again, whatever that means, Lennox. I don't even know what that means anymore.
Well, a couple of years ago, we had a normal market where we had instead of 80% of homes selling at the launch, we were at 30% or 40%. That's more of a normal market. Selling the first month, but we're up higher than that right now because no unsold inventory and a huge backlog of buyers for each new listing. But that's what normal looks like. So you can see how special this market is. And right now, a lot of many homes are selling above list price, and so they're buying forward a year of appreciation or so, buying the home today above market price. So that's in play right now, but people are also getting the benefits of these really low interest rates in the face of potentially them going higher.
Is the market getting too far ahead for appraisals, do you think? Are we too far out?
Yeah, appraisals can be a problem. And one of the tools, as both of you know, is that if a buyer has additional cash to be able to buy out the appraisal. And what I mean by that, if the appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price, that they have the funds to make up the differential. So that is a tool to win in a multiple offer situation. But also we have all cash offers coming in, and that's what's helping the appraisals keep up to speed because they have comparables of an all cash offer. But it can be a problem on occasion, the appraisal. And sellers want certainty. They want certainty. If you can figure out how to get all cash and then finance out afterwards or before closing, that's a bonus. Or if you have the extra money to buy out the differential of the appraisal and the sales price,
and that's a great strategy that I don't think enough people are talking about, where you can have a cash purchase and refinance out 6 months or a year later. If you have that financial stability to do that, I think that's an excellent tool for the buyers to have in their toolkit.
And they definitely want to do it within a time frame because for the SALT write-offs on income taxes.
Another good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So here in Oregon, our legislature frequently talks about doing away with our mortgage deduction, and our Realtor Association has been very helpful in keeping that at bay. I was just wondering what you have heard, because I know you're involved on a national level.
Well, it is a situation where governments are state and federal governments are looking for additional tax revenues. So it is under pressure. There was the change on a federal level. And because of you're talking about the state income tax in Oregon, how that would be affected with mortgage deduction. So luckily the realtors are on this, looking out on behalf of homeowners, and that's what the Realtor Association does. We really work with both parties on home ownership. Because that's one of the foundation items of America is owning your own home, that place of safety where your heart is, and it really creates strong communities. So we focus on that. We focus in on our business practices and being of support to communities.
Well, we're here visiting with Lennox Scott. He's the company executive officer of John L. Scott, our company. Pete Belcastro and Alice Lema are your hosts today. This show, just for your enjoyment, will be repeated tomorrow at 6 p.m. We're also thankful to our sponsors, our local John L. Scott, Ashland Medford, Rogue Valley Association Realtors, and Guy Giles of Mutual Omaha Mortgage. Do not touch that dial, folks. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, folks, to the Real Estate Show. I'm Alice Lema here with my co-host, Pete Belcastro, and we're both so grateful and so excited to have Lennox Scott here with us today. He's the company executive officer of John L. Scott, and we just have so much to talk about. It's hard to know where to start next.
Well, thank you, Alice.
Well, I do have a question for you, Lennox, and this is in terms of like realtors in the future of the great housing debates. I mean, I know you're in Seattle and everything, but you have the same kind of issues there in terms of homeless and how we're going to house communities of color better and all these kinds of debates that are going on around us. And one of the things that I find is that realtors are never asked their opinions on these things, and yet we're the frontline people. We're the people that meet everybody who's buying and selling these places, and nobody asks us what we think about the future of housing or what can we do different to house things. I'm curious as to what you think about that, what role realtors play. Do we have a role to play? And should we be more vocal about what we see, about how we can solve some of the housing issues that we have?
Well, we definitely have a voice in the conversation. You hit on a couple of topics there, so let me take one at a time. The first one is homeless situation, the issue. And, our hearts go out to those that are homeless. And we want to help them get back on a journey of getting a job, home ownership, a place to rent and to live. And many communities are starting to take the approach of no homeless sleeping on the streets. But to do that, they need to provide shelters for the evenings. And I've seen a lot of investment now of shelters so that no one is sleeping on the streets. But there's requirements of the no alcoholism, no drugs, and things like that. And then we have mentally ill, and there's a big cost there in treating individuals. So the nonprofits are working, I believe, working really well now with local governments to try to figure this issue out, so we can help give a leg up, a lift up, to those that really want to re-engage. They just need a lift up, and for others to help them through whatever situation they're going through at this time. You brought up another topic regarding diversity and fair housing. Realtors stand up for professionalism through our code of ethics, and we also stand up for fair housing for all. And we just recently, with the horrific death of George Floyd, which was unacceptable when he was in custody, and then the horrific death, that was unacceptable. And that's when I think it woke up the nation that we can do better. And that would come from just the general conversation of supporting diversity within the real estate industry. We're really positive advocates for mandatory diversity education for our license renewal every couple of years, and for getting racist language out of property deeds. It's still in property deeds, and that's unacceptable. So we're looking at past history of what took place in America, and from our viewpoint today, we can all say that was unacceptable. And then what are we going to do to help move this forward for not only Black Americans, but for all citizens of the United States?
Yeah, I'm happy to say that our deeds in Jackson County no longer say if you're married or not.
Oh,
Some
wow.
of my first investments were only 10 years ago, an unmarried woman. It's like, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Well, isn't that it is incredible, and we've come a long ways. But now we're going through a renewal of spirit and reflection about here's some other items we can do. And one of the things that we've taken on as a company is our 90th year project. This is our 90th year in business. And we were in business back then when these racist policies were taking place in society, and the industry was both complicit and complacent with those policies. So we have extra responsibility and extra energy to help change the trajectory moving forward. And for our 90th year project, we're sponsoring scholarships for candidates of diversity to get their teacher certificate. Because what the research shows that if a student of diversity has 2 or more teachers of diversity, there's a 38% greater chance of graduating from high school and 32% more go on to college. And we need more teachers of diversity. So in Portland, Seattle, and Spokane, we're bringing in scholarships as a demonstration project that we can really make a change for so that all Americans have a quality education experience. And we open up equity. And equity means having the same opportunity as each other. And that's what we want to help create, is that environment that there's equity for all, opportunity for all, for jobs, advancement, inclusion, and just living life.
Well, as a company, we're just so grateful to have such strong leadership in those departments. And one of the other things I don't think that the public is aware of is how charitable and generous that John L. Scott is as a corporation and as a family. We just respect and admire all the work that you're doing, and wondered if you could touch on some of the projects that you have going on right now in that department.
Well, fantastic. It's all of us together on the team. We have the John L. Scott Foundation that we all contribute to. And then we use those funds, 100% go to help sponsor events to raise money for children's health care in all the communities we're located. And we have great projects down in Medford that we're involved with, as well as 19 other hospitals throughout the Northwest that we sponsor events for. And our core, this really comes from who we are as a company. Our core value is living life as a contribution. Living life as a contribution. And this is at again, the core energy of who we are, is being a contribution to these kids and their parents in the time where they need help in the wellness. We're a contribution to our clients, both buyers and sellers, and those homeowners that we're in relationship with. And then we're supportive to our teammates, and we take this same positive attitude home. We take it home for family and friends, community, and place of faith. So we sell a lot of homes, 34,000 transactions a year, the John L. Scott network up in the Northwest. And that's a lot of properties, but our core value of who we are as a company is really about the conversation of living life as a contribution, one of the great joys of living life.
Well, I know locally we have the Earth Angels Foundation that the agents can contribute their commissions to. And we do a lot of food baskets during the holidays, as well as some children's services and backpacks and shoes and the like. And it's been very successful and very helpful to our community. And we're very grateful to John L. Scott to sponsor some of those and to help foster that mentality of living life as a contribution.
Yes, and I'm real impressed with what we're doing as a company, but also locally, what you're doing directly in the Medford-Ashland community.
And I think during the fires, it really spoke. A lot of the agents helped directly. They helped some of the fire victims. And Pete was a fire victim during that, and he has recovered and he's doing well now. But it's just something that as a company and as a group of agents, we were able to pull together and do. And our local Rogue Valley Association of Realtors also had grants and donations for that.
They sure did. And what a helping hand, a comforting hand and helping hand during that time.
Hey, Lennox, thanks for coming on with us and giving us your insights. We'll see if you're right on your predictions. Okay, that's what I'm looking forward to. Next,
I mean, you're gonna play this back in a year or so to see how we ended up.
We're gonna see how close did we end up coming and what we thought was going to happen. It's up in the air. It's going to be fascinating to see in the next few months. That's for sure.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lennox. We appreciate you so much. And we appreciate John L. Scott as a company. Lennox Scott, Company Executive Officer of John L. Scott Real Estate. Thank you. Folks, Pete Belcastro, Alice Lema saying have a beautiful Southern Oregon weekend. And we'll talk to you again next week. Bye now.